let's take you out to an event taking place, as we do here on Live and Now from Fox, out of Southern California. A live pursuit taking place right there, as we can see this happening in Southern California. Potential carjacking. Police pursue, as you can see, only going about 60 or so miles an hour right now. They have already used the spike strip. They just zoomed in on the front of that car. So right now the spike strip so they're on the rims on that front left portion of this vehicle, only going about 50 miles an hour, and that's mainly the reason for that, is they don't have any more rubber on their front left portion of their tire. You can see the location there, potentially starting in Bakersfield, as you can see them going along the I-5 southbound, I believe, here in this black vehicle. We're following this here on Live and Now from Fox. Our Los Angeles team, our Fox 11 crew, likely following it as well. But let's just tune in here, watch this for a little bit here on Live Now from Fox, of this police pursuit by the California Highway Patrol there in Southern California, here on Live Now from Fox.
Well, it kind of looks like it. Let me double in here. Actually, we're like quadrupled in here now. We had heard that it was the rear tire, but you look at that front driver's side tire. I think I see a little bit of rubber, but it looks like it might be.
So you're seeing there, as the helicopter people were talking about this, but you can see the front left portion of this as they were driving, the operators there of the helicopter doing a good job here maintaining this distance here, some 62 miles an hour, and climbing there just a little bit. But you can see the spike strip already used in Southern California. So we saw a wider version from just a little bit ago. Police in pursuit of this, the California Highway Patrol, here on Live Now from Fox. You can see them zoomed in, though, as they are still some distance in the background, but we haven't seen any cars around them, which is potentially a good sign here. It is just approaching rush hour on the West Coast, so about just after 4 o'clock. So this is something that potentially could hit some traffic depending on where they go, starting in Bakersfield and moving their way there. So still just some 66 miles an hour here on Live Now from Fox. Let's just continue to watch this as the pursuit taking place, a potential carjacking, police following behind. They've already used some of their utensils, their tools, to try to slow down these individuals. But this happening right here on Live Now from Fox out of Southern California. You can see them zooming out in the far left lane there. Sometimes they like to exit. Sometimes people don't exit on this, but you can see still going some good distance here on Live and Now from Fox. So they're going southbound, I believe, on the I-5, that according to the locator there from our Sky Fox crew. So following this here, let's just watch this as they zoom out. You can see police there right behind them in pursuit. Not necessarily high-speed pursuit, but going just about potentially the speed limit, passing by this semi, some people getting on the highway, but everyone staying to the right, potentially seeing this incident taking place. But you can see more and more traffic there building up on this I-5 there in Ventura. So we're just watching this here on Live Now from Fox. Our Fox 11 team usually dives into their coverage. They will likely be there momentarily. We will take you out to it as soon as it happens here on Live Now from Fox. But we will continue to follow this pursuit taking place, a carjacking. All right, so our Fox 11 team is doing a great job covering this. Let's go out to their coverage here on Live Now from Fox of this carjacking in Southern California.
Gathering more information to find out more about who, in fact, might be inside this black sedan. And as soon as we get a make and model, I'll bring that information to you. Of course, if you're CHP, if you're law enforcement, you always assume that whomever is behind the wheel is armed and dangerous. I don't know that to be a fact at this point, but that's the assumption of law enforcement. I mentioned those extremely tinted windows. I think this is completely blacked out here. And I'm looking at the crew here. Does it look like a BMW? In any case, we're working to get that information. Traffic doesn't seem to be a huge issue And as I'm saying that, it looks like speeds are slowing down. We're seeing those big rigs here. This is a very popular roadway for big rigs, again, southbound 5. And yes, I'm being told that this is a BMW. So speeds dropping down to the 20s. Oh, look at the pit maneuver. There goes CHP with a successful pit maneuver, and now those other black and whites are there to try and stop it. There may be a flat tire involved. It's hard to see from this angle. Maybe you have a better look at home. But yes, the door is open. The suspect has now exited, or seems to be about to exit the vehicle. I see some hands. This is when things can get very dangerous, when you are supposed to do exactly what law enforcement tells you. And it looks like the driver looks like a male doing what he's being told to do. That's your hands up. He'll be asked to turn around. And of course, if you're law enforcement, you always assume that there are other people in the vehicle. So looks like maybe he's shoeless as well. Small steps toward law enforcement, hands up. This is right at the Magic Mountain Parkway exit there. So Six Flags nearby, southbound 5, Newhall, as we give you a really close shot here of this shoeless suspect in that black BMW sedan. So as mentioned, yes, this is typical protocol. You're supposed to turn around and you will walk typically backward toward law enforcement, or you'll be asked to get on the ground in a spread eagle before you are placed into custody officially. So if you know somebody who was heading southbound on the 5, they're going to be stuck in some traffic for some time, since all lanes currently are shut down while CHP officers try to get this suspect into custody safely and as quickly as possible. So we're just watching this unfold. It doesn't look like from this side, if there's a passenger, I would assume, Randy, I have Randy here in studio. Does it look like? All right, we have joining me, someone who knows all about this, a retired law enforcement officer. Please, Officer Tim, right? Can you introduce yourself? Tim Lynn, thank you so much. What do you make of what we're seeing here?
Well, you're seeing the standard end of a pursuit here, where the suspect is following directions of the officers on the ground. There's one officer that is giving him directions to walk backwards towards them. And then when he gets him away from that car, then that's the officer's got a safe advantage at that point to where they can take the suspect into custody without exposing themselves to whoever or whatever may be in that car. But right now, I'm kind of looking at the suspect, the way he's acting, and without shoes, he's kind of disheveled. So they may be dealing with some type of impairment here, whether it's chemical or mental. So just the way he's stutter stepping back, they're going to do what they need to do to get him away from that car to be able to take him into custody.
Hey, Tim, on this shot, clearly, at least that front tire looks like it's blown out. So maybe spike strips were deployed prior to us going on the air. But how unusual was it that we saw that pit maneuver was put into place, and a good one, on a freeway like this?
Well, each office, I mean, they all run under the same policy and procedures for the California Highway Patrol. Each office has different criteria that they use. Up in this area, they're able to control the freeway a little bit better because they don't have a lot of off-ramps and on-ramps up in that area coming over the hill on the 5. And they're able to get ahead. And they have their set spots that they like to do it in. There's a couple of them up there through the grapevine that they use. And once he got into the grapevine coming this way, coming down south, they had somebody set up and just take him out, because the freeway is pretty much sealed off for off-ramps, and then the officers behind can stop the traffic coming down the hill and give enough open area to where the officer who is initiating the pit can do it safely and not involve any other motorists on the freeway.
Well, and we just saw, as you were explaining that, we saw those other officers check the BMW to see if there was anyone else. It doesn't look like there is. I didn't see them check the trunk. Of course, they will check the trunk before they give it an all clear, the code 4. But at this point, from your vantage point, as we actually want to re-rack that moment when this did officially come to an end with that pit maneuver. This has gone as perfectly as possible, you know, given the circumstances, and it doesn't appear that any other unsuspecting driver was involved or hurt in this.
Yeah, like I said, they can control the freeway access to this area. Also, then the vehicles behind can get to a point to where they can keep everybody out of the way. And then when that officer who's in that lead vehicle makes the determination to go up and make the turn, then he's able to do it. And the speeds here were very slow, so there wasn't going to be any real dynamic issue at the end of it. And as you notice, the pit vehicle drove completely out of the way, and two of the what we call the jam cars behind came in and stopped. So yeah, perfectly designed, and the freeway, as you saw, was not at a high rate of speed. I mean, the vehicle was not at a high rate of speed to where there wasn't a large movement by the vehicle at the end, because there is minimum or maximum speeds that they're allowed to do it at, and that was well below that maximum speed. So it was done very safely and very professional by the California Highway Patrol.
All right, retired Officer Tim Lynn, thank you so much for jumping on the air with me to help make sense of this latest pursuit. We appreciate your time. This all started, I should mention, this stolen vehicle pursuit started in Bakersfield. It has now come to an end, basically, the Newhall Pass right outside Six Flags Magic Mountain, southbound 5 at
You're just listening into our Fox 11 team in Los Angeles as that pursuit came to a successful conclusion there, a safe conclusion there, traveling up from Bakersfield. So certainly something we're following here on Live Now from Fox.